Thank you. Thank you. How are you feeling?
Good. How's everybody?
Woo! Yes. It's that almost Friday energy. Like,
Right.
yes, I'm here for it. Okay, well, again, even in your intro just then, very impressive titles. Like, I can imagine your CV is probably as long as my leg. But I think, yeah, if we just go to how you started, how did you get into social impact and investing? And what would you say are the major issues for Black social entrepreneurs?
Okay, we don't have enough time for that. Funny enough, Izzy, you're gonna be interested in this actually. So I started back in. Sorry, can you hear me? Okay, yeah, great. So I started, started working for a not-for-profit organisation. And as I worked for this not-for-profit organisation, they asked me to do this funding application. And the funding application was only for about £2,000 for a bit of stationery, something like that. So I did the application, and then I remember ticking some boxes. And one of the boxes was Black and young people. However, the directors of the organisation were white. So that was the first sort of inkling. And then I went to another organisation, again, a white-led sort of, board, but yet all of the beneficiaries were Black. And saw that you could, get funding applications. So I thought, hold on one second, there's a trick here. If all you've got to do is just tick Black and pick a young person or a benefit that is something that you're interested in, then anyone can do this. So I started to tell everybody about it, and if you were at the bus stop, I'd just say, what's your passion? And whatever your passion was, come, let's go and get some money for it. Because there's funding out there. And it's just that people didn't actually know what it was. And my whole thing then, as I started, was that the best people to be able to support or deliver a program were those that looked very much similar, like the very beneficiaries and the communities that it was that they were serving. So that's, really, in a sense, how I kind of got into it. And then later on, I started doing a lot more, doing a bit of consultancy, and Izzy, this is where it's going to come. I met your dad, so yeah, so Izzy's dad, Sam Obeng. Sorry, I'm broadcasting all your business out now. But Izzy's dad, Sam Obeng, is he still is very predominant in the third sector as a consultant and business advisor, and he sort of helped me out and supported me on going on more sort of working more commercially in businesses, and it just really started to spiral from there, and it becomes really not infectious, but it is. It's infectious. You just really want to keep helping and supporting the more and more you can.
So, I mean, it's great to know that there are many organisations in the UK that I guess we can fit under the social enterprise / charity sector. But what essentially is it? Like, how would you define it?
So I was talking to Teresa about this earlier on. So there are lots of different models. Just let me have a quick look, because I know that I understand the audience. Is anybody out there have a social enterprise or run a social enterprise? So just one. Wow. Oh yeah, there's a couple. Okay, and I know the couple as well because they're on my my cohort. So hi, cohort guys. And how many sort of have got a thinking of starting up a business? Not that many?
A couple.
Yeah, a couple. Yeah, okay. All right. So social enterprise is really about, having a social or environmental benefit to the work and the business it is that you do. Mm-hmm. And so there are so many different ways you can set up a social enterprise. So if you were going to set up a limited company, for example, a company for profit, you would go to Companies House and you would just register. With a social enterprise, however, there are so many different legal structures, especially now, more so than what they were before, that you could set up. So you could set up a charity, or you could set up a CIC, or you could set up a limited by company by guarantee. Or you could not even register with Companies House and just set up an unincorporated association. So that's just 3 people, I would say minimum, a bank account with 2 signatories, and a constitution that's signed. And you can go right out right now and go and get 10,000 from Awards for All, maybe 10,000 from the Heritage Lottery, maybe, it's all out there from your local community. It's all out there for you to go and get.
And with that, would you say it's down to us to do our own research, or is it because being from a marginalised group means that those who are from a more privileged background don't want you to know about this?
I wouldn't say that. I think there was something that came up in the talk before. So, for example, there was the young man who sort of, when David was talking about, and he was saying about his history, and the young man sort of said, we don't know anything about this. And it wasn't that it wasn't out there, because, there are community, Charmaine, who's out there, she's done Black History Studies. I'm doing my PhD at the moment. Les Henry, my supervisor, is at the front. I know he does. It is out there, and it's just really about, you'll hear it. If it's something that you're passionate about or something that you're interested in, you'll hear it. Foundervine, for example, just hearing and knowing that Foundervine is out there. It is you are a CIC, right? Yeah, great. Yeah, so it is a CIC, so it's a community interest company. And it's about coming to events just like this and hearing these little buzzwords, hearing these little magic words, hearing money, free money that you don't have to pay back, and then being kind of interested in, well, what was she talking about? And what are accelerators? And just being inquisitive in that way, that's how you kind of come about it.
Definitely. And just going back to Izzy's point about that great quote about relying on other people for weaknesses. When I set it up, We Are Black Journos, the whole idea of Companies House and HMRC just made me want to take a nap. Yeah. Like I would just type it in and think, okay, that's enough for one day. It's a lot to get through. And this is incredible, knowing that there are incentives that are willing to give free money. And of course, that's quite attractive to hear. But for someone that has never set up anything before, what's a great kind of mini step-by-step of how they should proceed?
I think one of the key words, and sorry, Izzy, I keep throwing it back at you, but so there's Foundervine that does accelerators. I know I've spoken to Nick before. I think Nick is doing some accelerators here at NatWest as well. So there are different types of accelerators. I'm running I'm managing an accelerator at the moment. It's called the Enterprise Development Program, and that's with an organisation called Ubele, so the Ubele Initiative. So we received, I think it was about £2 million, and we're actually working with about 49 enterprises. Like I said, some of them are in the room today, where we gave up to £30,000 to be able to set up and develop an enterprising idea. I can see Dean in the background out there. Dean runs an amazing accelerator program, and he also, it's Goldsmiths University where he works at the doing accelerator programs. So really, it's just about networking and finding out. And as an example, Dean, who kind of does a lot of work with sort of startups and early stage organizations. Can you just put your hand up, please, Dean? There you go. I know, I'm trust. Yeah, so, an amazing business advisor as well. And like you said, just going to Companies House and HMRC, it can be incredibly daunting. But somebody like Izzy, somebody like myself, somebody like Dean will be able to break that down. And not only that, but Remy Ray in the back, so I'm going to keep calling out. Remy Ray, can you just put your hand up there, Remy? Yeah, Remy, she's another great social entrepreneur working with diverse communities. Irfan here, who, just put your hand up, Irfan. And this is like, I paid all these people to be here, isn't it? But no, and the reason why, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs. I make it my business to know a lot of entrepreneurs, and I make it my business to make sure that those who I do know, if I can introduce and make up. And Nicola's standing there in the background, and I know Nicola, you thought you was going to get away with it, Nicola. I know Nicola, you've seen Nicola sort of give out badges and all that kind of stuff. Her PR agency is absolutely phenomenal.
FP Comms, check it out, FP Comms.
Honestly. And so, you mentioned that whole thing, but you've got a whole room full of people who've been able to circumnavigate HMRC, Companies House, Charities Commission, the CIC regulators, all of that. And it's really just for us to just take that step and say, can I just ask you a quick question? And believe me, we are more than happy, right, Izzy? Right, Dean? Right, Nicola? Right? Yeah, to help anybody out in that way.
I love that. And, well, I guess because of time, I'll just go to the last question, which is also of big interest to me, and it's about money. Oh. How would you advise for a profit business to access the 840 million to 58 billion pounds that's available right now? I'm just going to turn straight to you because what?
All right, so let me break it down. So at the moment, there's 850 million pounds in dormant assets, and Victor, this is in the social impact and investment sort of space, and then Victor Ajala did a report, and on this report, he said that this money, this endowment money, really does need to go to Black and minoritized enterprises, and it's been really explicit about that. And the social, when I say social investment warehouses, they're the ones who get that endowment money, they hold that money, and then they distribute that money out through other intermediaries who then distribute that money out to organisations such as yourselves if you were thinking of setting up the organisation. Now, as I was saying to Teresa from EY, and EY's got a great sort of foundation program as well, when you do have to be kind of set up as a kind of, not-for-profit organisation, which is, making sure that the money, because it is public money, so making sure that, I don't go off to Ghana with it and, have a great old time. So for-profit businesses, they will struggle. You definitely will struggle to be able to access that funding. However, I am a limited company and I'm a social enterprise and I've still been able to get grants and I've still been able to. It is daunting. You do have to push through. But the other thing that I also do, because I do know how to do it, and I've had advisors, like such as Dean there, advising me, is you can set up that. Remember I mentioned that unincorporated association? That unincorporated association, that's something you can really just set up on the side. And you can just test and see if grant funding is something for you. Because the process of having to go for it, it's a little bit like going for a job. You've got to look at the person spec, you've got to look at the key criteria, you've got to match all of that, and that's what grant funding is like. So it's not for everybody, but as a for-profit company, thinking about potentially trying to access, and it's out there, and I'm saying it's out there, and it's out there for you for the taking. And then the people that I've mentioned in the room, and other people who have gone through this process, please just ask us. The unincorporated association, bank account with 2 signatories, 3 people, go and get it.
That's it.
That's it.
We're going to talk after. Thank you so much, Jacy. Everyone, give it up.